Welcome into iUniversity Prep Cheat Codes, 8th grade social studies edition, episode number 2, Oreos. Strange name for an episode, but let's go with it. Let's say at my house, there was an empty bag of Oreos, right here, empty bag of Oreos, and I wanted to know who did it. Was it the little one in the front, Angel? Was it the one in the middle, the oldest, Kyla? Or was it the middle child, Laura? Who did it? Let's say it was the little one. The little one always does it. Plus, look at that guilty face. Let's say Angel just ate the last Oreo, left the bag in the cupboard and everything. Like, this is horrible. So, and I know this is not a real crime. Let's just pretend this was a real crime. She would have rights as the person accused under the Constitution of the United States of America, specifically in the first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights, and even more specifically inside the Bill of Rights in amendments 4 through 8. So we are going to talk today about rights, and we're going to dive into like the rights of those accused of a crime, like our little Angel. Oh, she looks so sweet, isn't it? Don't let it fool you. She ate the last Oreo. So let's dive into this. You are going to need your note cards, and you're going to notice that like I have a bunch of note cards today. So there, like last time there was one note card, it was very clear. This time there's a lot of information you are going to have to store up in that brain of yours in order to help you get these questions right about these rights in the Bill of Rights. So make sure you have your note cards ready to go. And I want to make sure that I clarify this for you before we go any farther. The Constitution is a large document. Inside the Constitution, there are amendments, there are other things in the Constitution, but the first 10 amendments, the first 10 of these amendments are called the Bill of Rights. And these were a part of the original deal to get the Constitution approved or ratified, had to do with these 10 amendments, these guarantees of freedoms and guarantees of rights. So inside of the Bill of Rights, there are 10 individual amendments. So make sure that you know if we're talking about the Fourth Amendment, that's a part of the Bill of Rights, which is also a part of the Constitution. So if the Fourth Amendment guarantees it, the Bill of Rights guarantees it. If the Fourth Amendment guarantees it, the Constitution guarantees it. Super important for you to understand that, because there's going to be some questions on your STAR test that may not say the Fourth Amendment guarantees this. It might say the Constitution guarantees this. And so you got to know that the Fourth Amendment is a part of the Bill of Rights, part of the Constitution. So anyway, point of clarification. All right, get your note cards ready. Side one, and you can pause these throughout, and I'm going to go through these super rapidly, and so I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time talking about these, other than you just need to write them down and work through them. Just memorize them by using those note cards. Study them. 10 minutes before you have live lesson for social studies with Mr. Birch, study those things. So anyway, side one, Second Amendment. Side 2, the right to bear arms. So side 1, Second Amendment. Side 2, right to bear arms. Next note card. Side 1 is the Third Amendment. Side 2, no housing soldiers, which just means this. In peacetime, the United States military can't force you to open your house up to people of the military for them to live in your house. Obviously, this was an issue back during the colonial days of the United States, what became the United States. And so they wanted to make sure that this was a guarantee under the Constitution that military people would not be living in civilians' homes. All right, 2 cards on this slide. Card 1. Side 1 is going to be amendments 4 through 8. Side 2, the back side of that card is going to say rights of the accused and due process of the law. Make sure you write that down. Card 2 from this slide. Side 1 is going to say the Fourth Amendment, and the back of that's going to say no illegal searches and seizures, and must have a warrant. So the police must have a warrant before they search your home. Next note card, side 1, the Fifth Amendment. This is like one you probably have heard on a TV show or a movie or something, where you have the right to remain silent, and then also due process of the law is specifically mentioned in the Fifth Amendment. The next note card is going to say the side 1 is Amendment 6 and 7. Side 2 is going to say speedy trial, impartial jury, meaning that if Angel were accused of stealing the last Oreo, then she could, say that, like, I don't want Kyla and Laura to be on the jury because they wouldn't be impartial. Of course, they would want to convict her because they're trying to, deflect the attention from them. You have the right to lawyer and the right to take the stand to speak on your behalf in the trial. So if you're accused of something, you can speak on your behalf if you so choose. The next note card is the 8th Amendment, and you just need to write on the back of that one, no cruel and unusual punishment. So if Angel were convicted of eating the last Oreo, we couldn't sentence her to 10 years in jail. That would not be a punishment that fits the crime. That would be cruel and unusual for such a minor thing. Next note card, Side 1, Amendments 9 and 10, and Side 2, Reserve Powers and Federalism. What this is really talking about is the Constitution isn't in these Bill of Rights isn't covering every single thing that people are going to encounter. So like there's things that there are rights that you have that aren't covered in these, and if certain things aren't covered in the Constitution, powers that aren't covered in the Constitution, then those go to the states for the states to make their own decisions. And that's really the foundation of federalism, that there's like these powers that are shared between the states and the federal government. And whatever the federal government powers, whatever powers the federal government doesn't have, the states have the power to act on those things. All right, let's look at our sample of questions. For each one of these, you read you can pause it, read them, answer for yourself, and then I'll go over the answers. So let's just jump in. Excessive bail, excessive fines, illegal and cruel punishments. These are, covered in Amendments 4 through 8. Amendments 4 through 8 of the Constitution. So obviously we are going with choice F. Absolutely. All right, read this for yourself. Pause it. All right, 4th Amendment. Right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated. So the government can't just come in and search your house. This is all about protecting you as a person, as an individual. Obviously, this is a problem they felt like this was a huge problem under British rule. So this is all about letter H, keeping the government out of excessively surveilling you as a person. All right, unreasonable searches and seizures are illegal. Search warrants may not be issued without probable cause, the place to be searched. So which one of the amendments has to do with illegal search and seizure? We know that the First Amendment is the 5 freedoms, so it's not that. And you know that the 10th Amendment has to do with states, the powers given to the states that aren't spelled out in the Constitution. The powers not given to the federal government are given to the states. 5th Amendment is the right to remain silent. So which one of these is unreasonable search and seizures? You could look at your note cards if you want to, but you know that it is the 4th Amendment. Absolutely. It's going to be key to be able to eliminate when you're doing these sorts of questions. Like, what are the ones I can get rid of? There you go. All right, 8th Amendment. Excessive fines cannot be imposed. Excessive bail cannot be required. People cannot be forced to witness against themselves. That's Amendment 5. You have the right to remain silent. You don't have to testify against yourself. Cruel and unusual punishment cannot be inflicted. Warrants cannot be issued unless probable cause is established. That's Amendment 4. We've talked about warrants. A defendant cannot be denied a speedy and public trial. Which one of these is the 8th Amendment? If you're like, I don't even remember, let's look back here. 8th Amendment. No cruel and unusual punishment. Cruel and unusual punishment, 8th Amendment. Absolutely G. All right. That if any person shall write any false, scandalous, malicious writings against the government, stir sedition, all these sorts of things, this person shall be punished. Shall be punished and imprisoned not exceeding 2 years. Well, what is all this talking about? Is it freedom of assembly? Nope. Is it freedom of the press? Nope. It is the right to due process of the law. The right to due process of the law. All right, what about this one? This is from the Magna Carta. Go ahead and read it for yourself. No free man shall be seized or imprisoned or stripped of his rights or possessions or outlawed or exiled or deprived of his standing in any other way, nor will we proceed with force against him or send others to do so except by the lawful judgment of his equals or by the law of the land. Which political idea was influenced by this provision? All this is about Amendments 4 through 8, due process. Amendments 4 through 8, due process. All right, due process. Can you see that due process is becoming a big part of this thing? It really is. You really need to know due process of the law. Guarantee of a speedy trial. freedom from unreasonable search and seizures. Remember, due process is 4 through 8. Right to bear arms, well, that's number 2. Freedom to speak up, freedom of speech, that's Amendment 1. Protection from cruel and unusual punishment, freedom of the press, that's Amendment 1. We are looking at C. Absolutely. I'll let you read this one. When citizens report for jury duty, your civic duty, jury duty, they are helping uphold the constitutional right guaranteed by which amendment? We know that the First Amendment's the 5 freedoms, so this is number 1. Second Amendment's the right to bear arms. The 9th Amendment has to do with, the rights given to people that aren't necessarily spelled out. So it's obviously the 6th Amendment. 6th Amendment, when you are guaranteeing the right of a person to a trial by jury. All right, what about the 10th Amendment here? The powers not delegated by the United States by the Constitution or prohibited by it to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. What principle of U.S. government is here? It's absolutely federalism. Absolutely federalism. So whatever the federal government powers they don't have, go to the states. Go to the states. All right, so here's the must know. You must know Amendments 4 through 8 are the rights of the accused of a crime. Due process of the law. Amendments 4 through 8. Know that, and I think you'll be a long way down the road in passing that 8th grade star. Thanks a lot.